girls—" He broke off. A heavy foot had crossed the threshold of the shop. "Say, uncle," said a deep voice, one of those beastly voices that only the most poisonous blighters have, "you see a young feller run past here?" "Young feller?" The proprietor appeared to reflect. "Do you mean a young feller in blue, with a Homburg hat?" "That's the duck. We lost him. Where did he go?" "Him? Why, he come running past, quick as he could go. I wondered what he was running for, a hot day like this. He went round the corner at the bottom of the block." There was silence. "Well, I guess he's got away," said the voice, regretfully. "The way he was traveling," agreed the proprietor, "I would be surprised if he was in Europe by this. You want a nice suit?" The other, curtly expressing a wish that the proprietor would go to eternal perdition and take his entire stock with him, stomped out. "This," said the proprietor, tranquilly, burrowing his way to where Archie stood and exhibiting a saffron-colored outrage, which appeared to be a poor relation of the flannel family, "would put you back $50. And cheap." "$50?" "60, I said. I don't speak always distinct." Archie regarded the distressing garment with a shuddering horror. A young man with an educated taste in clothes, it got right in among his nerve centers. "But honestly, old soul, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but that isn't a suit, it's just a regrettable incident." The proprietor turned to the door in a listening attitude. "I believe I hear that feller coming back," he said. Archie gulped. "How about trying it on?" he said. "I'm not sure, after all, it isn't fairly ripe." "That's the way to talk," said the proprietor, cordially. "You try it on. You can't judge a suit, not a real nice suit like this, by looking at it. You want to put it on. There." He led the way to a dusty mirror at the back of the shop. "Isn't that a bargain at $70? Why, say, your mother would be proud if she could see her boy now." A quarter of an hour later, the proprietor, lovingly kneading a little sheaf of currency bills, eyed with a fond look the heap of clothes which lay on the counter. "As nice a little lot as I've ever had in my shop." Archie did not deny this. It was, he thought, probably only too true. "I only wish I could see you walking up Fifth Avenue in them," rhapsodized the proprietor. "You'll give 'em a treat. What you going to do with 'em? Carry 'em under your arm?" Archie shuddered strongly. "Well, then, I can send 'em for you anywhere you like. It's all the same to me. Where'll I send 'em?" Archie meditated. The future was black enough as it was. He shrank from the prospect of being confronted next day, at the height of his misery, with these appalling reach-me-downs. An idea struck him. "Yes, send 'em," he said. "What's the name and address?" "Daniel Brewster," said Archie, "Hotel Cosmopolis." It was a long time since he had given his father-in-law a present. Archie went out into the street and began to walk pensively down a now peaceful Ninth Avenue. Out of the depths that covered him, black as the pit from pole to pole, no single ray of hope came to cheer him. He could not, like the poet, thank whatever gods there be for his unconquerable soul, for his soul was licked to a splinter. He felt alone and friendless in a rotten world. With the best intentions, he had succeeded only in landing himself squarely amongst the Ribstons. Why had he not been content with his wealth, instead of risking it on that blighted bet with Reggie? Why had he trailed the girl-friend, dash her? He might have known that he would only make an ass of himself, and, because he had done so, Looney Biddle's left hand, that priceless left hand before which opposing batters quailed and wilted, was out of action, resting in a sling, careened like a damaged battleship. And any chance the Giants might have of beating the Pirates was gone, as surely as that $1,000 which should have bought a birthday present for Lucille. A birthday present for Lucille! He groaned in bitterness of spirit. She would be coming back tonight, dear girl, all smiles and happiness, wondering what he was going to give her tomorrow. And when tomorrow dawned, all he would be able to give her would be a kind smile. A nice state of things. A jolly situation. A thoroughly good egg, he did not think. It seemed to Archie that Nature, contrary to her usual custom of indifference to human suffering, was mourning with him. The sky was overcast, and the sun had ceased to shine. There was a sort of somberness in the afternoon, which fitted in with his mood. And then something splashed on his face. It says much for Archie's preoccupation that his first thought, as, after a few scattered drops, as though the clouds were submitting samples for approval, the whole sky suddenly began to stream like a shower-bath, was that this was simply an additional infliction which he was called upon to bear. On top of all his other troubles, he would get soaked to the skin or have to hang about in some doorway. He cursed richly and sped for shelter. The rain was setting about its work in earnest. The world was full of that rending, swishing sound which accompanies the more violent summer storms. Thunder crashed, and lightning flicked out of the gray heavens. Out in the street the raindrops bounded up off the stones like fairy fountains. Archie surveyed them morosely from his refuge in the entrance of a shop. And then suddenly, like one of those flashes which were lighting up the gloomy sky, a thought lit up his mind. "By Jove! If this keeps up, there won't be a ball game today." With trembling fingers he pulled out his watch. The hands pointed to 5 minutes to 3. A blessed vision came to him of a moist and disappointed crowd receiving rain checks up at the Polo Grounds. "Switch it on, you blighters!" he cried, addressing the leaden clouds. "Switch it on, more and more!" It was shortly before 5 o'clock that a young man bounded into a jeweler's shop near the Hotel Cosmopolis, a young man who, in spite of the fact that his coat was torn near the collar and that he oozed water from every inch of his drenched clothes, appeared in the highest spirits. It was only when he spoke that the jeweler recognized in the human sponge the immaculate youth who had looked in that morning to order a bracelet. "I say, old lad," said this young man, "you remember that jolly little what-not you showed me before lunch?" "The bracelet, sir." "As you observe, with a manly candour which does you credit, my dear old jeweler, the bracelet. Well, produce, exhibit, and bring it forth, would you mind? Trot it out. Slip it across on a lordly dish." "You wished me, surely, to put it aside and send it to the Cosmopolis tomorrow." The young man tapped the jeweler earnestly on his substantial chest. "What I wished and what I wish now are two bally separate and dashed distinct things, friend of my college days. Never put off till tomorrow what you can do today, and all that. I'm not taking any more chances. Not for me. For others, yes, but not for Archibald. Here are the doubloons. Produce the jolly bracelet. Thanks." The jeweler counted the notes with the same unction which Archie had observed earlier in the day